Good morning, everyone. This is Nate, also known as Rides with Nate, back again with another YouTube video. We're not in Wisconsin. We're back in the sunny West Virginia Panhandle. At least it's sunny until later. We're heading into Rockville, Maryland, and later Alexandria, Virginia, to catch some lunch and cigars with a couple of friends. Good. And I figured it's been a while since I've recorded. It's been since Wisconsin, and that was in May. That's fed a few weeks worth of videos. I have more videos from Wisconsin I need to edit, but I've been exceptionally lazy at doing that. So let's get this party started. So I wanted to do this video as sort of a aftermath or closing thoughts, if you would, now that I've had some time to digest the Wisconsin trip. Well, yeah, I guess my western trip, as I should call it, because we did spend a little bit of time, 20-30 minutes at most in Minnesota. But we can say we've been to Minnesota. Oh man. So, at least by the time this is uploaded, you would have had the ability to watch the first 3 videos. As it stands now, I'm still crunching through some of Chicago. I sort of lost steam on editing. I had some GoPro issues where it said it was recording and then it wasn't. Or it wasn't recording and it was, and then the battery in the GoPro died, and I said I'm not fiddle-farting with it because I didn't have my external battery pack connected like I do now. All in all, I would call the trip a success. We ran into some issues. It would have been day 2 for me, day 1 for my colleague who was on the BMW. And what I was trying to capture with the camera and talk about, but the camera was just not having it that day, and then the battery died, is that when we were going through Chicago. Okay, so first to understand, my colleague rides a 2012 BMW R1250 GSA. There we go. That was the last year of the air oil cooled motors for that bike. So understand going into the conversation that bike uses oil as a coolant. It just passes it through a intercooler or heat exchanger, I guess you should really call it, to cool the motor. Very well-known design. Lots of bikes do it. Harleys do it. Some Hondas do it. Some of the older Hondas. It was more popular, what it seems like, in older bikes. I see a lot more liquid cooling in modern bikes, like proper coolant. So we were going through Chicago, and he commented that his motor was running particularly warm, and he noticed an oil light on his dash, but he had just gotten the bike, so he didn't know what the oil light meant. It wasn't the low oil pressure light, so ultimately he, I guess, didn't really worry about it. So we left Indiana, powered through Chicago, Illinois, up north through Chicago to Wisconsin. Spent time at the Harley Museum. But before we left the Harley Museum, we were both like, yeah, you should probably check your oil just in case, because he Googled what the light meant, and it was the low oil light. The bike can differentiate low oil level versus low oil pressure. Someone's going to have a fun day, or they've already had a fun day, they're wet. Jet skis are basically water motorcycles. They're very fun. Anyway, so he Googles the meaning of the light, and we jump into panic mode to look at the sight glass on the side of his bike. why BMW chose to put the sight glass for the oil level on the opposite side of the oil fill. What the actual shit, BMW? I don't know if there was design limitations with the shape of the motor or what, but like the FJR, for this bike for example, the oil fill and the sight glass are basically next to each other on the left side of the bike. So not sure what brilliant German engineering went into that decision, but do better. Anyway, check the sight glass up on the center stand. There was nothing on it. So yeah, his bike was definitely low on oil. He didn't note any burning issues beforehand, so we have a sneaking suspicion that as the bike was running very hot through Chicago, because we were stuck in Chicago traffic, this one was getting toasty, and it was a pretty cool day in Chicago. Maybe 60 some degrees, maybe 68. Wasn't too bad. But even this was having a hard time keeping its thermal load under control. So we went to go find an auto parts store in town, and they didn't have any. His bike takes 15 W50, so he had some back and forth decisions. Well, what do I want to run? Do I want to try to do we want to put in 10 W40 because just so it flows better in the cold? Do we want to put in 20 W50? It won't flow so well in the cold, but it's ultimately the right viscosity for the bike. So I'm trying to tell him, it's like, just put the 20 W50 in as long as it meets the standard that your BMW calls for. It's not ideal, but we're not going to have any under 32 degree mornings, so I don't think you're going to have to worry about cold flow. And there was something rather satisfying after having owned an American bike and after having used lots of 20 W50 to see a European bike take 20 W50. That was a certain level of satisfying to watch. And yes, I gave him a hard time for it too. But ultimately, it was either Valvoline or Castrol is what he put in. So he filled while I checked the sight glass on the other side. And the bike didn't have any more issues after that. So we both suspect it just got a little too hot and was burning oil through Chicago, which, whatever. It is what it is. My Harley burned its fair share of oil, and it ran 20 W50. I always ran full AMSOIL synthetic. So if we want to talk about, problems on the trip, I guess that's really the only one. Neither bikes gave us any mechanical issues. The Yamaha absolutely just performed better than I could have expected. As we were heading from Sturgeon Bay, Wisconsin down to Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin, or the Dells as I hear the locals call it, it rained. It rained a lot. It basically rained the whole day. That was still yellow. But it basically rained the whole day. And I don't like traveling in a whole lot of rain. The rain gear makes it feel like a pressure cooker. Fortunately, it wasn't warm outside, so it didn't bother me to have the rain gear on, but it did get kind of stuffy. It was mainly the humidity was getting me. Now there was a sign that said traffic emergency, and I see there's a oopsie doodle on the GPS here. There was a fatal accident here a few months ago, and I'm hoping this isn't another. Oh yep, we're routing through Harper's Ferry. Oh man. Oh no, we're just routing around. Oh my god. What happened? Fire? Good god. I don't know where the tractor for that trailer was. Holy crap. Hey, there was a fatal accident at that intersection just a few months ago. I got stuck behind coming up the hill. I actually ended up turning around and having to go the long way around to get home. Anyway, Mechanically speaking, the bikes were fine, minus his BMW's oil burning adventure, but like I said, I had a Harley, it burned it. Just carry a cord and keep going. But now he knows, and he hasn't had an issue with the burning since he got back to his home up in northern Michigan, so cool. And the colleague, I almost used your name, I don't know if you want me name dropping you in these videos or not. Anyway, colleague, if you ever watch this, thank you. You made that trip very enjoyable. I appreciate the time that we spent together. It was quite nice. And I'm ready to go traveling again. So the trip overall went well. It was 2,369 miles, is at least what I traveled from Sunday to Saturday. Yeah. I was originally planning to ride all the way home Friday from, or at least as far as possible was my backup plan, but I wanted to ride all the way home from Dells, Wisconsin to the West Virginia Panhandle. But we had some really gnarly weather going on through this neck of the woods and up in Pennsylvania where I had to travel through. And I was noticing like parts of northern Maryland and western Maryland that I was going to be crossing through had tornado warnings and confirmed, there goes the again, and I had confirmed rotation, and one cell had attempted to drop a tornado and was successful. And I'm like, nope, we are not riding through that. Screw all of that noise. So I stopped. I was riding with the road captain with the motorcycle club that I ride with. He was on his Goldwing, I was on this. And we rode from Dells all the way to Toledo, I think it was. He dove south to avoid the weather, and I think went down through like southern West Virginia to get back down to where he needed to go to southern Virginia. The guy's a nut, but man, does that come from that's a term of endearment. Holy crap. I think he well exceeded an iron butt that day. 1,200 miles, something like that. It was more than 1,000 in a day. But I stopped in Columbus. I'm like, you know what? This is far east enough. The storms are starting to blow up and come up here. I'm not risking it. I'll ride in the rain. But when you start getting severe storms, you start getting severe watches and warnings and rotation, I don't ride in tornadoes. I got stuck in one tornadic storm once on the Super Cub of all things, so like the least equipped bike to run. So yeah, I didn't from that point on, if there's even a hint of a tornado watch or warning, my happy butt stays parked wherever it's at till the storm goes away. And we are at 27,999 miles. Damn, this bike's getting old. I don't even know if the camera can pick that up. I hope it can. There we go. 28,000 miles. I don't know how I gotta crane my head for you to be able to see that. 28,000. 28,000. Man. So I guess that segues into another topic I want to talk about at some point, is to do like a formal/informal owner's review of this bike. I need to jot some notes down, my likes, dislikes, things I've changed, things I want to change. Now that I've rode this bike, I've owned it for 10,000 miles. I bought it last year at 18,000, last October, and it's June, going in July right now, probably July by the time I upload this, knowing how I move through processing videos. But it's 10,000 miles on this drivetrain in under a year, and I've learned a lot. Do I regret any of it? Absolutely not. I think this bike is far superior to the Road King in a number of ways. The biggest of which being comfort. It's still hot as balls, but it's hot as balls differently. Alright, I am gonna... Did my voice just crack? Wow. Alright. I'm going to save the SD card for this, on this camera, because yeah. I really don't have a whole lot to talk about other than the Wisconsin trip went well. There were really no major mechanical issues. There was some weather that we battled, and overall it was a pretty big win. But yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording for now, and we will reconvene when we're on the way back home.